الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's doing good. So we're gonna get started. Just to refresh our memories, we are reading Surah Al-Baqarah, and we in the last class we finished on ayat number, I believe. Where did we finish? We finished on ayat 134.
No, we started on 133. Remember?
No, we did read this ayat yesterday. Yeah. So we read ayat 134 and we read ayat 135 as well. We read ayat 136 as well. Did we?
37.
I know.
So we are starting with 138.
Yes, we're gonna start from ayat 138. So in the previous few ayats, just to refresh our memories, we've been reading about Allah Ta'ala has mentioned about Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam and his sons and Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam, and Allah Ta'ala Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam is his obviously grandson. So Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam had two sons, Ismail alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam, right? And then Ishaq alayhi salam has son called Yaqub alayhi salam, and Yaqub alayhi salam has prophet son called Yusuf alayhi salam, among other 11 sons. So Allah Ta'ala has mentioned that when they were old and when they were in the dying age, they did took a covenant from their sons that who they're gonna follow, and they all made a promise with their fathers that they're gonna follow Allah and they're gonna follow the commandments of Allah Ta'ala, and they will die as Muslims, meaning they will live their life as Muslims. And when these people, Bani Israel, Jew people of the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they're saying that we are following the deen of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah saying that they are lying. They're not following the deen of Ibrahim alayhi salam, because Ibrahim alayhi salam was a true Muslim and he was on the right path and he only believed in one God, and he was not a mushrik, meaning he was not believing in other gods. So these people, when they say that, they're lying and they're not following even what they are saying. So we're gonna continue from ayat number 138 today. So let's get started. Ahmad, you're gonna read ayat 138.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
No, from the previous one. From ayat 138 is after 137. Sibghat Allahi.
صبأة الله ومن أحسن من الله صبأة ونحن له
عابدون. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبغة الله ومن أحسن من الله سبغة ونحن له عابدون. So Allah Ta'ala is saying the color, religion of Allah, and who is better than Allah at coloring, and we to him are worshippers. So Allah Ta'ala is saying there is a religion of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala's favorite religion is Islam. Allah Ta'ala is saying in another place, Allah Ta'ala's favorite religion is Islam. And that's why Allah Ta'ala has guided all the prophets to tell these people that if they want to be guided, they have to follow Islam, meaning they have to become Muslim. So that is the best religion for Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala has chosen this religion for everyone. So Allah Ta'ala has not chosen to be Jews or for people or to be Christian. So these other religions people made up themselves, even though the prophets they follow, they were all Muslims. So Allah Ta'ala is saying that Allah Ta'ala's best religion is Islam, and Allah Ta'ala is the best to choose it, and we are supposed to be worshipping. We should be worshipping Allah Ta'ala, meaning we need to follow what Allah Ta'ala is saying, and and when we worship Allah Ta'ala, then we have to be Muslim. We have to be Muslim and we have to be in Islam. So we cannot say we are worshipper of Allah Ta'ala, but we are Jews. We cannot say we worship Allah Ta'ala, but we are Christians. Because these religions is not what Allah Ta'ala wants us to be on. Yes, Rida.
So if Allah's favorite religion is Islam, what's his least favorite?
Allah Ta'ala's favorite religion is Islam. There is no least favorite. Allah Ta'ala does not like any other religion. Because Islam is the only religion which says that Allah is one and Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. Other religions don't believe this. Other religions don't believe the kalma which we have. The kalma which we have is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, meaning Allah is the only one God, and Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet. So other religions don't follow this thing. So obviously all the other religions are not desirable.
Okay. Like in real life, you can't wish for like a huge cake house. In Jannah, you can.
Yes, beta. In Jannah you can have anything. Okay, let's continue. Next ayat. Umar, go ahead, read next ayat. Umar, are you there?
Yeah. From where?
After 138.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أتحاجوننا في الله وهو ربنا وربكم ولنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم ونحن له مخلصون. Say, do you argue with us about Allah while He is our Lord and your Lord? For us are our deeds, and for you are your deeds, and we are sincere in intentions and deeds.
قل أتحاجوننا في الله وهو ربنا وربكم ولنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم ونحن له مخلصون. Say, do you argue with us about Allah while He is our Lord and your Lord, and for us our deeds, and for you are your deeds, and we to Him are sincere. So Allah Ta'ala is telling Prophet ﷺ that tell them that you argue with me about Allah, that when you guys say that we are following the Prophet, when you're saying that we are following the Prophet and we are on the right path, meaning your religion is better than what you call on, because Prophet ﷺ is calling these people to become Muslim. So Allah is saying, and these people are saying that we don't want to become Muslim because we already are on the right path. We're in the path of Ibrahim alayhi salam and we're in the path of other prophets, even though they are not rightly on their path, because Allah Ta'ala is saying in the previous ayat that those prophets took a covenant from their children that they're going to follow Allah and they will die as Muslims. And they said, we will. But these people who came after them, they changed their religion. And Allah Ta'ala tell them that, are you going to argue with me that you are on the right path and you follow Allah, even though it's the same Allah which I'm calling upon? And if that is the case, then you continue doing what you're doing, because I'm not responsible for your deeds, and I'm going to do what I am doing because I will be responsible for my deeds, and I am sincere, meaning we are sincere in what we are doing. If you guys are doing what you are doing and you think that you are the right path, even though Allah Ta'ala is telling us in the last book of Quran that the prophet which you are following, they told you things which is not which you are following is not correct. They told you about Islam, that it tells you about what the prophet really asked you to do, but you have astray. You're on the wrong path because things have been changed in your books, and you are saying you want to stay on that wrong path. So clearly you're on the wrong path. But if that's the way you want to stay, that's fine. You'll be responsible for your deeds, and I'll be responsible for my deeds. And obviously, I am sincere because I have the last book of Allah Ta'ala. Okay. Next, Azrika, go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أم تقولون إن إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط كانوا هودا أو نصارى قل أنتم أعلم أم الله ومن أظلم ممن كتم شهادة عنده من الله وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. And the definition is okay. Or do you say that Ibrahim and Ismail and Ishaq and Yaqub and the descendants were Jews or Christians? Say, are you better knowing, or is Allah knowing who is more unjust than the one who concealed a testimony that he has from Allah? And not is Allah unaware of what you do?
أم تقولون إن إبراهيم وإسماعيل وإسحاق ويعقوب والأسباط كانوا هودا أو نصارى قل أأنتم أعلم أم الله ومن أظلم ممن كتم شهادة عنده من الله وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. Or do you say that Ibrahim and Ismail and Ishaq and Yaqub and the descendants were Jews or Christians? Say, are you better knowing, or is Allah? And who is more unjust than the one who concealed a testimony that he has from Allah, and not is Allah unaware of what you do? So again, continuation from the previous ayat. So Allah is asking them that you say that Ibrahim alayhi salam, his son Ismail alayhi salam, his son Ishaq alayhi salam, and Ishaq's son Yaqub alayhi salam, and the descendants, meaning and their children were Jews or Christians. So you're saying that these prophets were Jews or Christians because you have formed a religion called Christianity, and you have formed a religion called Jews, and you say you follow these prophets, and you're saying that these prophets were Jews or Christians. And Allah is saying that, say, are you better knowing or is Allah? I mean, you know better than what Allah knows, because Allah is saying clearly in this book that these prophets whom you are following, they were true Muslims. So Allah Ta'ala is giving, Allah Ta'ala is telling something which obviously the Prophet knows when what they did in their life. Allah Ta'ala is telling these people the history. Allah Ta'ala is giving a history lesson that when these prophets were alive and what kind of life they had, and what communication, what did they convey to the people, what these prophets convey to the children, and they told clearly that we are Muslims and you're going to stay as Muslims. So Allah is saying that you know better or Allah knows better. Who's more knowledgeable? So you are debating something on the knowledge which Allah Ta'ala is giving you in this Quran. Allah Ta'ala is saying in this Quran that these prophets whom you're saying your forefathers, and you're saying they were Jews or Christians, Allah Ta'ala is saying they were not Jews or they were not Christians, they were Muslims. So Allah Ta'ala is telling us that they were Muslims, but again you are saying that no, we are on the right path because these prophets or forefathers were Jews or Christians, or we want to stay like that. So Allah Ta'ala is saying you know better or I know better. Obviously Allah knows better. And Allah is saying that, and who is more unjust than the one who concealed the testimony that he has from Allah. Allah is saying that who is more unjust, meaning who is more unjust, who is doing more wrong, the one who's concealing, meaning who's hiding a testimony. Because in their books, Allah Ta'ala has said that that you have to be Muslim, and the prophets you're following are Muslim, and there's a last prophet coming with the name of Ahmad. But these people who came after them, after the prophets, they changed the book. So they hide the information. When the last prophet came, when the last prophet came, their rabbis, their leaders, their scholars, they changed that book so the average person, average Christian or average Jew person, he won't know. So when Prophet came and he said, hey, listen, in this Quran it says that your book, I'm mentioned that I will be the last prophet, and your book says that the last prophet will come and the guidance will come. But these people, they changed that book. They hide the lines where it was written. So they hide the lines. They are saying that you are doing a very unjust. You're doing a zulm. You're doing unjust, that you're hiding the testimony which came from Allah Ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala saying not Allah is unaware of what you do. Allah saying that Allah Ta'ala knows exactly what you're doing. So Allah Ta'ala is addressing to these people who made such changes and they don't want to follow Islam. Allah says, I know that why you're doing it, because you just don't want to be in the right path. You want to stay on the wrong path. Okay? Okay, next ayat. Ayan. Whose iPhone? Whose iPhone? What's your name there?
Yeah.
Whose iPhone? iPhone. Okay, never mind. Ayan, go ahead, read the next alphabet.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون أما كانوا يعملون. That was a community which has passed away. It will have what deeds it earned, and you will have what you have earned, and you will not be asked about what they used to do.
Okay, good. تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون. So this was a community which has passed away. For it, what it earned, and for you, what you have earned. And not you will be asked about what they used to do. So Allah is telling Prophet that this community, these are the community which has passed away, meaning the the people they're following, obviously they're not following the prophets. They're not following the prophets. They're not following the prophets. They're saying that we're following Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam and all the prophets. They're not following them. They're following someone who have been astray. The people who have changed the guidance. So they are following those people who change the guidance, and they were a community. Obviously, they make changes in the religion. They have passed away, so they will get punishment on what they have earned. Meaning, whatever bad deeds they have done, they will get punishment of that, and you will not be asked. The Prophet ﷺ that you will not be asked on what you do, because when Prophet ﷺ was preaching, he was getting tired, and these people were not listening. They would keep on saying, "No, this is what we heard from our grandfathers, and we want to do as they're doing." So Allah is telling him, Allah is telling Prophet ﷺ that you don't need to have grief. You won't be asked. I mean, you won't be responsible for them to not become Muslim. It's not your fault, because these people have become stubborn. They want to stay on the wrong path, and your job is to tell them what is in the Quran. Your job is to preach what Allah has taught you. So you tell these people that this is the right path and this is the wrong path. If they still want to stay on the wrong path, this is their decision, and you won't be asked. So Allah is saying that everyone is going to be responsible for their deeds. So when a guidance comes, if they accept the guidance, they will be, obviously they can save themselves from hellfire. But if they don't want to accept the guidance and they want to stay on the wrong path, it's up to them. So they will be punished. It's not the one who's giving the guidance. Yes, Akbar, your question.
Actually, you're on the right path. What are you going to do? What are you going to do because you lying?
Yes, lying is not good. Allah does not people. No, the lying is not good. Lying is a very big sin in Islam. So we should never be lying. Yes, one other question. Yes, whose iPhone? I see iPhone raise a hand. Whose iPhone?
I don't know.
There is hand. Okay, anyway.
Me neither.
Okay, so so we're gonna wrap it up here. So I just want to take a few minutes and talk about Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, Ramadan is coming next week, and we should all be looking forward for it. That is a blessed month. So Allah Ta'ala, yes, Rida. Yes, in 2 or 3 days. So hopefully we'll have first of Ramadan will be either this Tuesday or Wednesday. So we don't know, depending on the moon. So depending on the moon of Ramadan, inshallah, we'll be fasting on Tuesday or Wednesday. So this Ramadan is a very special month. So we all need to do our best. We all need to do our best and change our habits. So what we need to do, what Allah has asked us. So we need to definitely change our habits. The things which we do bad, which is not allowed all year around, and since we are weak, we do it. We should do all our effort not to do it. We should at least stop watching the TV. We should stop watching things which are not good. We should stop we should spend most of our time in reading Quran, understanding Quran, and then reading du'as and reading ahadith. So we need to struggle. We need to work hard on ourselves that we do good deeds. So Ramadan is like an institute. Akbar, come here. So Ramadan is really for us. Ramadan is like an institute. So we stay in this month as an institute. We try to learn as much about Islam and follow it. Okay. And what is when we go to institute for a month? And when we get at the end, if we do good, we get a certificate, right, Rita? We get a certificate or a diploma. So what is the certificate which we get at the end of Ramadan? We get a certificate, and that certificate is gonna be a reward for us for Jannat. So Allah says the people who fast, there is gonna be a special door, a Rayyan, and that door is gonna be only for the people who fast, and it will take them to Jannat. So we need to work hard so we can be among among those people. So it's going to be like a VIP. VIP people only go from that door to Jannat, and those people will be the people who have fasted the whole month. Yes, Rida.
So basically, remember like you told me that Shaitan will be locked up and stuff in Ramadan.
Yes. Shaitan is locked up in this month, meaning Allah Ta'ala tie up the Shaitan. So Allah Ta'ala is gonna, since we human are weak, right? And Shaitan come and distract us to do good things. So Allah Ta'ala ties up the Shaitan, so he won't give us more waswasa, he won't distract us much. So we have more power to do good things. Okay? Yes. If you are Muslim and you don't fast, no, you will get punished. You can get punished, but Allah can throw you in hellfire, but we don't know for how long. But for Muslims, it's mandatory. The things which are mandatory for Muslims, Muslims have to do it. It's a must. Okay? It's a must, but Allah Ta'ala says that Allah Ta'ala says that for every good deed a Muslim does, Akbar, every good deed, every one good deed a Muslim does, Allah Ta'ala rewards him. Allah Ta'ala rewards him 10 times for that. The reward is 10 times of that good deed. It could be the reward could be from 10 times to 700 times. Depending on how honestly he's doing the good deed, Allah Ta'ala reward him, multiply by 10 times or 700 times, but except fasting. For fasting, Allah Ta'ala says the reward is much more, and only Allah Ta'ala knows how much reward Allah Ta'ala will give us for that. So we don't know how much reward Allah Ta'ala, because when we fast, Allah Ta'ala says this person is fasting only for me, because when someone is fasting, he can hide it, he can still eat and drink and not tell anyone. Only Allah knows and him knows, and the person knows, right? So when someone is fasting honestly, he's doing only for Allah Ta'ala. He's not doing for show off. He's not, this ibadat is not that someone is doing for show off or any other benefit. He's doing just for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, and only Allah Ta'ala knows that this person is really truthful in fasting or not. So Allah says, because of this thing, the reward is something which only I will give him, and is going to be much more than what he can think of. So we all know that in fasting, in Ramadan, we are not supposed to eat, drink. That's what we all know. But the other thing which Prophet ﷺ said, that there are 5 things which can take away the benefit of fasting. So even though people are fasting, they're not eating or drinking, but if they're doing any of one of these 5 things, they are just starving. There's no reward for them. So Prophet ﷺ said, we need to stay away from these 5 things to get the reward over a fast. And what are those 5 things? The very first thing is staying away from lying. We can never lie. If we lie, we lose the benefit of fasting. If we do any kind of lie, we lose the benefit of fasting. Lying is haram. Lying is a big sin. Fasting or no fasting, right? But in fasting, it's even a bigger sin. Even though we'll be hungry all day, fasting all day, but that fasting is going to be converted just to starvation. There's no reward for any person who lie. Doesn't matter if big or small, any kind of lie, if he does in fasting, the fast is invalid. There is no reward for fast.
But and you don't eat the phone again, or now you're planning next day you just eat.
After when you open your fast, after Maghrib, you can eat, obviously. You can eat all night.
Like, for the whole day, and you do fast for that whole, and when it's night, and you go to sleep, but that's all you such a huge birth because you did nothing, you did very good job fasting.
Yes, listen, so that Prophet Muhammad said, you need to stay away from 5 things, Rida. Okay, we need to know these 5 things. Akbar, listen. The very first thing Prophet Muhammad said that we need to stay away from lying. We cannot lie at all when we're fasting. Second thing, he said backbiting. You know what is backbiting, Rita? Okay, backbiting is when you talk some bad about someone else when he's not around.
Okay, we just say bad talking.
Bad talking. Yeah, bad talking is the same thing as backbiting. Meaning you are talking something on their back. They're not there. You're saying something bad about your friends, your family, anyone you know when they're not around. anything which you say which they won't like if they're present. So anything you talk about anyone, if you say any such thing which they won't like when they're around, it's called backbiting. Backbiting is haram. It's a big sin even without Ramadan. But in Ramadan during fasting, it's a huge sin. It's a big sin which will waste the reward of the Ramadan of the fasting. So we need to stay away from lying. We need to stay away from backbiting.
I have a
Third,
question.
yes, Umar.
So in Ramadan, Shaitan can't like make you do bad things because he's locked up.
Yes, Shaitan is locked up, so he won't make you do bad things. But remember that Shaitan is one thing, our nafs is another thing. Our nafs is not locked, right? Our desires are not locked. Our desires are the one who made us do bad things as well. Shaitan is one thing. Shaitan comes and whispers and give us bad thoughts, bad ideas, and we do it. But then again, our nafs, our desires make us do bad things as well. Our desires are not going to be locked. We will still have desires to do bad things, and those desires cannot be locked. We are responsible for the desires to tie them up. When we fast, we stay away from food, we stay away from drinking. We need to stay away from the desires as well, the desires which are not good for us. Okay? So Prophet Muhammad said there are 5 things which will ruin your fast, which will take away the reward of fast, and you will be a sinner, the big sin. The very first thing he said, will you stay away from lying? Second thing he said is backbiting. Third thing he said is tail bearing. Tail bearing is that if you are doing backbiting and I'm listening to it. So the person who is listening to backbiting is also same sinful. That is tail bearing. So we cannot be listening to backbiting as well. If we are in a gathering where someone is backbiting, we need to tell them, hey, please don't do backbiting. This is Ramadan. We need to stay away from it. And if you are doing backbiting, I'm listening it, I'm getting similar sinful. And if they don't want to stop, we need to move away from them. So if they're saying bad, doing backbiting is one bad thing, and listening to that backbiting is also same bad. Okay, so this third thing, tail bearing will also ruin our fasting. So we need to stay away from that. And the fourth thing, listen. And the fourth, क्या कह रहे हो?
Tail bearing. What's tail bearing?
Tail bearing is listening to backbiting. The fourth thing is false oath. The false oath that we made something, we made, meaning that we, again, it's kind of lying, that we take an oath which is false. We take an oath, we swear on something that is true, but we lied. Understand? So that's also kind of lying. We take a wrong false. We take a wrong oath that we say, oh, I know that he did something, like we validate someone's lie. So that's, huh? Yeah, so that's also similar lying, and it's also haram regular days as well. But this is something which can nullify our fast. And the fifth thing is looking someone with lust, like looking someone which is not allowed to see something, right? If we're not allowed to see something during regular days, we're not supposed to see that in the Ramadan as well. It's a bigger sin.
Which is not allowed to look.
Right. So we need to stay away from these 5 things, and we need to make our every effort that we adopt these things and we learn this thing in Ramadan so we can follow these practices after Ramadan as well. Okay?
I just copy and paste it. That's what I can remember.
It's okay. Yeah, that's good. You have any question, Rida?
No.
And if someone in the Ramadan, if someone comes to you, Mustafa, in Ramadan, if someone comes to you and they want to bug you, or they want you to talk about something bad, they want to fight with you, you're not allowed to fight back. You should always be peaceful. And you can always say, if they ask you to do anything bad, you can always say, because I'm fasting. Okay? You can say, I'm fasting. That's what Prophet ﷺ said, that if they invite you for anything to do bad, you can tell them, I am fasting. That should be your response. Your response should not be being mean with them. Your response should not be being rude to anyone. Your response should not be to fight back. You can just say, I'm fasting, and we need to control ourselves by that. Okay? Understood? Good. So we need to remember all these things. We need to practice it, and we need to struggle. We need to work hard in this Ramadan. We need to work hard that we can read more Quran. We need to work hard on ourselves so we can become good Muslims. So Ramadan is like an institute. We go in this month and we learn about Islam, and we try to practice as much as we can so we can adopt it and try to bring those things in our life. It's okay. No, we don't need to. Okay, anyone have any questions? So if there's no questions, we will continue inshallah tomorrow, and I'll talk more on Ramadan. If anyone have any questions on Ramadan, feel free to ask tomorrow as well. But this is something very, very important for us, and we are very blessed that Allah Ta'ala has given us opportunity that we are gonna be, we will live in this Ramadan, because Ramadan is an opportunity for all Muslims that we can, Allah Ta'ala, forgives a lot of Muslims from hellfire. So may Allah Ta'ala help us as well, and grant us Jannah because of Ramadan. So with this, we're going to end our class today, and at the end we make a dua that Allah Ta'ala help us understand more Quran, help us read more, and accept our gathering. So Allah Hafiz everyone. I'll see you tomorrow inshallah.
Bye bye.
Assalamu alaikum.